Hi guys, welcome to my very long overdue apartment room tour. It's like finally mostly done. So first of all, this apartment is very much on a budget. These are all picked out from like Amazon and IKEA. I'll leave the prices for most of the items in the description, and if I have time on screen. Right off the bat, I'll show you guys the plan and the rent price and the rough location of my apartment. This entire space is a 2-bedroom apartment, and I have a roommate who's also in my major, so we can share the rent price. We got very lucky and found a very cheap apartment. My rent price is $1,200 a month, and if you ask around this area, the average rent price is around $2,000. Before showing you guys the room, I'll just break down the floor plan with you guys. Basically, when you start to design a room, usually you want to design the bed and the closet area first. My dad and my sister are both architects, so I consulted them very heavily for this design, and my dad basically told me to like put the bed and closet in this sort of configuration. When you walk inside the room, you don't just see the entire room, you actually see the closet first. And that kind of blocks whoever is outside from looking into your room. This is a Chinese design principle called pingfeng. I kind of like that. A very important design principle is that you want things to be aligned. Basically, in my room, there are 2 central axes. The first axis runs from a pillow to the neon sign. You know what's the central piece of the room. Like when you walk inside, your eyes are immediately drawn to something, which is the work desk. The other axis runs from my desk to my workbench, like my camera shelf. And these 2 together, they very nicely frame the room and gives it a logic that's easy to follow. Immediately when you walk into the door, you see this closet. This is like an open closet design, which means there are no doors or sliding doors to open it up. I just feel like when you have a door in front of you, it takes a lot of space from your room because you need to leave space for the door to open. Below the shelf are my routers. Above the closet, that's my one-wheel box, which is needed to return or ship the one wheel to anywhere, so I keep that. These are my masks, because it's COVID. And on this side, you can see this hook system, which is where I put my helmet for the one wheel, raincoats, any keys or any extra helmets that Cathy might bring over. And below that is my one wheel. This is my work area, and I'll go through most of them piece by piece. So let's start off with the desk. The tabletop is from IKEA. It's about 175 centimeters, and it's more than enough for 1 person and slightly not good enough for 2 people. And that's kind of the theme of this room. The chair I have here is from IKEA. I specifically wanted a chair where there is a good headrest because it's really comfortable to just like lean back and watch something and work on some projects. On my work area, I have a big 4K monitor here. This is my HomePod, which I'm trying to configure it to turn on my lights, but it's just like not having it. For now, it's just like playing music and stuff. It's a very nice speaker. This basket is for all of my adapters because I use a MacBook Pro. And I also have my hard drive station. These are 2 hard drives that are used to back up each other. When a file corrupts, there's always a backup of everything. Okay, turning around to the camera shelf, which is one of my favorite places in the room. I have wanted a dartboard for so long, and now I finally have it, and I don't know what to do with it. These are my charging stations. This is for the Canon battery, and when it's empty, I can just like plug it onto the wall. I really like that because I suck at charging, so I want a fun place to charge my stuff. These are like zip ties and gaff tape and all of this stuff. These are charging stuff. On the back of my phone, I have a magnetic wallet which goes onto the shelf, which it can just like stick onto the shelf. And this is the area where I FaceTime my parents. And this desk here is just like an open desk for building camera rigs or opening up packages. Cool, let's now move on to the shelves. My sister really recommended these kind of like wired shelves. I was trying to get like some pretty shelves, but my sister said they weren't like too versatile. My hand is getting too tiring. I'm gonna put this on a tripod. One of my favorite features of the shelf is how I can use hooks to hook up objects. For example, these are some AA batteries that I just like put onto the side of the shelf. And I also have my headphones hooked to the shelf, and that's something that I can only do on a metal wire shelf. This is by no means a pretty shelf, but for this area, the most important thing is versatility, and I feel like it achieved that. This area is all like miscellaneous stuff. These are for building stuff like WD-40. This is for all the wiring. These are like the batteries. This box is for all the uncharged batteries, and these are for the charged batteries. Uncharged? Dead batteries. Below that are my lights accessories. And below that are my actual lights. I got like LED lights and also photography flashlights. And below that is my Ronin-S and my monitor. And on this side, these are my smaller cameras. Like this one, which I really like. This is a proper film camera. I can actually like take pictures from it. I also have my 360 camera for VFX. This area are for my lenses and cameras. This area are like screws and stuff for camera rigs. These are for like actually building camera rigs. And these are for audio, all of my audio kits, recorders, microphones, lavaliers. And below that, this area is for the Deity work. And on this side of the shelf, I'll lower this first. Shit. I have my open back and closed back headphones behind that for editing. I made a review of the closed back headphone. You can check it out here. And below that, these are like the papers and stuff for drawing sketches. Yeah, this is my camera shelf. Now let's move on to this corner. These are for all of my plants. They're all connected to an app called PlantOut, which tracks the watering schedule and fertilization schedule of the plants based on weather, location, humidity, a whole bunch of stuff. All of them have names and I'm trying to keep them alive. Some of these are named after Jupiter's moons. This is Io, this is Europa, this is Ganymede. This one here looks like a Soyuz rocket, so it's called Soyuz. This is called Noel because Noel is Leon spelled backwards. This here is a seed that I'm trying to grow. It's been a week and it's still like dead. But this is cat drug. My sister has 2 cats, so I'm trying to grow some for them. This stuff is like my only 2 decors in the room, except for the neon sign. Cathy really likes pigeons, and we found this store in Manhattan that draws pigeons from every single part of New York City. I got one from Midtown, and Cathy has one from Greenwich Village, which is, Midtown is the location for both of our apartments, and Greenwich Village is the location for New York University. And this year is a gift from my sister. It's an alpaca made out of alpaca. This area is not really fun. These are my laundry baskets. These are separated out by color, so one of them says light and the other says dark. Honestly, these 2 laundry baskets are really ugly, but they get the job done and they're very space efficient because they're tall instead of wide. This is my guitar bag here and my 4 IKEA table legs, which I forgot to sell. Speaking of IKEA table legs, I forgot to mention my table legs. Turns out I didn't need wheels, and these table legs are way too flimsy for my 1.75 meter desk. Like, I want to be able to like press down my table and not have it bend. Not a very anxiety reducing situation to have a flexible desk. So I upgraded my table leg to the standing desk table legs. Now, about standing desk, a lot of people seem to think that standing desks are healthier because sitting down is like the new smoking. There are actually no scientific research that shows that standing up is healthier than sitting down. But there are plenty of research that says that moving around every hour-ish is good for you when you're sitting down a whole lot. The solution I got is just like this big water bottle. This water bottle is a liter and it allows me to drink plenty of water when I'm sitting down, just out of habit, which kind of forces me to stand up and use the restroom every hour. And in general, drinking water is just good for you. Cool, now let's move on to the bed area. Mattresses are expensive as hell. Like, I was trying to look for budget mattresses and the result I got was like budget mattress under $1,000. That's not budget, okay? This mattress that I got, I'm really happy with. It's around $300. It's the best mattress I've ever slept on. It's very stiff, with kind of a memory foam-ish on the top, and it fits my body really well. On top of it is my guitar. Next to my bed is this utility cart, which Cathy absolutely hates. She says it looks hideous. On the utility cart are the common things I might need. It's got my iPhone charger, my AirPods charger, and my Apple Watch charger. All on top, also my iPad Pro is here for when I'm lying on bed and I want to watch some YouTube. On the bottom here, these are like candies and crackers. If I want to work while eating snacks, I can just like pull this over. These are like ginger tea. They are very necessary for surviving in this room, and I'll get to why in a second. Below the bed are my 2 suitcases that I came to US with. Here are the bags and stuff from Target. I just like hide it under the bed until I need it. I forgot to mention, in the middle of the room is an Aputure space light hooked up to a LifeX light bulb. I was looking for like chandeliers and light fixtures to hang on top of the room, but in the end I just gave up. I was like, I'm a filmmaker. might as well buy an Aputure space light. This is something that people actually use on set to illuminate up a room. And just let me quickly show you guys the wiring of this light. I have a hook up there and a cable that runs all the way from the top to the side and to the shelf behind me. It's weird, but it works. Now let me show you guys the light controls that I have in my room. On my phone, there are 4 like applets here that kind of controls the mood of the room. For example, I can turn my lights all off with one button here, and then I can just like go to sleep. And when I wake up, I just press this button here and it turns on all of my lights. I have my golden hour shortcuts here that when I press it, it turns orange. I have another mode, which is my favorite mode. It's called blue hour. When I press it, this light turns blue and that light turns on, and it sort of guides your eye to the bed. This light here is not affected by any of the controls that I have for other lights because these lights are not for decorative purposes. These are for actually keeping the plants alive. My window is a north-facing window, which means there are not a lot of natural light that's coming into the room. And on my home app, I have it set up that these lights will turn on at 9 a.m. every day and turn off whenever sunset happens. They will get plenty of light every single day to survive, and I don't need to worry about turning them on and off to match the sunrise and sunset times. Now let's talk about why the rent price is so cheap. I got this room really cheap, and it's cheap for a reason. It's winter and it's like 5 degrees Celsius outside. Sometimes it drops below 0, but the apartment just doesn't turn on the heating in my room, which means it's really cold here. I have a heater here and it buzzes every day for about like 5 minutes and then it just turns off. I asked the owner like multiple times when the heating will turn on, and their response was basically like, it will turn on when it turns on. And if it's like this every single day in the winter, I will probably buy a portable heater. My solution right now is just to add more blankets onto the bed to get me through the night. But my plants are mostly tropical plants, which means they thrive at a higher temperature. Like when it drops below 10 degrees, they start to struggle a little bit. So I don't know if my plants will survive the winter if the heater doesn't come on. I try my best designing the room to be how I wanted it. Obviously, it's not like a very pretty room and it's not like super minimalist. It's functional, it works. It works really well and it's not that expensive. So yeah, this is my apartment and see you guys later. Bye.